Lamar Media Versatility, we aim to provide comprehensive solutions to our clients. We have a team of experienced professionals who can help you with every aspect of your media needs. From documentation and marketing to promotion and more, we provide our clients with top-notch quality services. We understand that each client is unique and has specific needs. That's why our team works closely with you to understand your company and event goals and objectives. We are committed to providing the highest quality services in media and strive to exceed our clients' expectations. Our team is passionate about helping you reach your goals and making sure you get the best experience and results. If you're looking for a reliable business to help you with all your media needs, look no further than Lamar Media Versatility. Contact us today to get started at 252-497-3817 or at www.lamar-photos.com.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of Colorful Voices of Sisterhood are their own and do not represent Lamar Media Versatility, that of any broadcast networks utilized, its advertisers, or sponsors. All content is subject to copyright and may not be reproduced in any form without prior written consent by Lamar Media Versatility. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of Colorful Voices of Sisterhood are for general public information and entertainment purposes only.
Have you ever wondered why some people achieve high levels of success? Or have you seen some work really hard to achieve their dreams, but for some reason fall short? Listening now, some of you may even fall into this category. The good news is, I have a solution. I want to see more people like you tally up more wins on the scoreboard. So I wrote my book, Mastering Your Ideas, which is an entrepreneur's how-to on dreaming big, achieving in business, and leading like a champion. So what you get is a breakdown of lessons and tools from my own tremendous success in business, mixed with anecdotes from my time as a U.S. Marine and my background as a chief operations officer of multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. I broke everything down for you to the essentials. In Mastering Your Ideas, you'll learn how to take whatever idea you have in your head right now and manifest it into reality. So, if you're ready to master your ideas and develop high levels of self-discipline and high levels of self-accountability, allow me to help you in your journey of creation and bringing your ideas to mastery.
Back to Colorful Voices of Sisterhood. We are happy to announce we got Tyler J. Pollard III here. He is the author of Mastering Your Ideals. It can be found on masteringyourideals.com. So tell us about this book you have.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on the show. I'm really excited to be here with you guys. I think this is a wonderful platform you guys created to just really get voices out there that normally you probably wouldn't get to hear on a normal basis. So kudos to you guys for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So a little bit about the book. So Mastering Your Ideas, it was something that was like a project I was really passionate about, because for one thing that I noticed was that there was a lot of people that had tons of things that they wanted to accomplish, but just didn't really know how to bring it to life. Right. And I'm sure some of us can all attest to being in situations like that. So with Mastering Your Ideas, what I did was created a breakdown that takes somebody from a step-by-step process from the original thought in their head, then how to strategically break down all the actionable discoveries it takes to bring the idea to life. So when I talk about mastering your ideas, I look at mastering your ideas as the identification of every single step that it takes to bring it to life. And how are you going to do that? So I created a visualization exercise that would allow a person to, one, identify all the steps, and then two, place those steps into a 4-phase quadrant of ideas that they can break down in a step-by-step fashion.
Wow. Okay.
So with the phase 1, you start with your research and development, then you got your execution, then you got your testing and training portion that tests and trains the ideas or the execution process. And then finally, your idea comes to life. And then I spent the first 6 chapters of the book, though, focusing on really explaining and teaching people how to think. Because until you understand how to process information, you can't do anything.
Right.
And so I really dive into the psychology of, one, how to have high levels of self-accountability, how to never accept a no when the outcome to your problems is something that you control, right? And also teach people how to take that journey internally to find their solutions in life, right? If we try to look externally to figure out how to solve our problems, we already failed. We were all given the ability to, one, pursue our purpose and passions, 2, to think independently. And so we had to basically bring ourselves to a situation to where we can make that happen. And so I focus on that in the first 6 chapters, so we understand how to think. And then
I like that,
okay.
Tellers, just because when you talk about the thinking, I know we talked earlier about the school education system right now.
Yeah.
It's really not teaching that critical thinking that we want our children to have, especially going through problem solving and that type of stuff. So to add that in your book, I think that was a great idea, because we are missing that in our society right now. So yeah, kudos to you for including that portion.
So how do we get that to younger people? Just that part to, to make them think. It's almost critical thinking, right? Critical thinking.
Well, go ahead.
I mean, with the young people, but also with me as an adult, the critical thinking to think beyond that book. And you say you go through those steps. Right.
So one, well, there's 2 things. So the mastering your ideas is going to take you from idea to mastery, right? So no matter if you're 18 years old, you're 65, you can pick this book up, follow the step-by-step process, and then bring your idea to life. But also, I didn't mention it earlier in the intro, but we created what's called, it's a lifestyle brand called Commander Lifestyle. And the goal of that is to basically take someone from their first zero to their first 100,000 from $0. Also, we want to focus on establishing their purpose through making more money. All right. So we teach people how to think independently so they can have the skills to one, just not have to worry about living a life stuck into the system.
Yeah, because I know, for example, when I was growing up, my parents lived paycheck to paycheck, and there was no extra money, and I don't think they really thought outside of that box they were in. Even now, I'm in a box because I'm only working a 9 to 5, where having your own idea to develop, it could be a 3 to 11. Everybody's got their own time where they're most productive at. And I think we put everybody in that same time block where a person, for example, my oldest son, he's a night owl. He works fabulous at night, but he needs his morning to unwind, to relax, So I think with your book, it really allows a person to work outside of the norm.
Right.
In the box.
No, absolutely.
And I know you mentioned something about the sleep.
Well, that was so we were talking earlier before we came on the set. And one of the things I mentioned was something that was super impactful to me, and it really changed my perspective on just how everything works in life. So one of my mentors, this is about 10, 12 years ago, he said, what's your sleeping number? And I was like, what do you mean? The only time I heard sleeping number is like the mattress or, so what do you mean by what's my sleeping number? So he says, your sleeping number is just like it sounds. How much do you make while you sleep? And I said, okay, that's interesting. So he said, what I want you to do is take what you made last year. And then, so that could be like your adjusted gross income on your 1040 tax return. Or he said, just think about like a number that you made last year in income. I said, all right, let me write it down. He said, now take that number and divide it by 365. I said, okay, did that. And he said, all right, now divide that by 24. And I looked at it. He's like, what do you see? I'm like, well, it's like $3. He said, that number that you see right there is how much you're worth right now while you're sleeping. And that really was a big weight because I knew I was worth more than $3, right? And so the thing about what he was trying to teach me is that when you think about money, it's not regulated to an 8-hour shift, right? A lot of people think that their only time they can earn income is at their job in that 8-hour box, regulated to 4 walls, a desk, and four windows, if you even have that, right? And so the key to raising your sleeping number is understanding that my earning potential is not regulated to a specific hours in the day. I can earn infinitely, both actively and passively, but I have to build an infrastructure that allows me to make more, right? And spend less. Because the only real true determinant of wealth in this world is a ratio of more coming in and less going out. So by virtue of having more money coming in and less money going out, then you are wealthy, right? Because somebody can make $50,000 and keep more than somebody making $300,000 a year who's living paycheck to paycheck.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really the only true determinant of wealth. And so in order to create a scenario where your sleeping number can raise, you have to unthink and unlearn what you think about how do you make money, and understand that you have to start building infrastructure assets that support you making more money and bringing in more income.
Yeah, well, I want to make money while I'm sleeping. I don't think I'm currently doing that.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit, if you can go back, what really motivated you? As you know, for colored people, we do have background that actually I was studying the richest man ever lived was African. Can you say his name?
It's Mansa Musa, I think you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, Mansa Musa.
African. So can you kind of do background a little bit, like what motivated you to become who you are now?
Well, I think a lot of things transpired in my life that really got me like motivated to take on like my life's purpose, which I think the only real determinant of success is how much impact you make in society. And by virtue of making impact in society, your reward is abundance. But you can't have abundance and live an abundance lifestyle if you don't give back. So it's no reason to have information and then hold it on and keep it to yourself. And a lot of times, sometimes people of color, we like to hold on things and not share it, like to be selfish. And that's why your earning potential will be limited and capped. But God will not bless you with abundance if he doesn't feel or she doesn't feel that you're worthy to receive the blessing, because you're going to do the most to make impact in the world. So when I understood that, that's what kind of motivated me to champion the mission of, 1, I need to be a better version of myself, and 2, I need to provide and make the most impact in the world. And by virtue of that, then that will allow me to earn and reach my maximum capability, or if you follow Maslow's hierarchy of needs, to become the one that most can be. And that's the highest level on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is being the one that most can be. And you can't do that without having that true self-actualization.
So was it a generation curse that you broke, or how? I mean, when you got started, was it already in your family, or was it something that you said, I need to research myself, or who helped you get to this level?
It was a few things. I think for me, we created a term. I don't know if it's already been out there, but I'm just gonna say we created it. It's called generational poverty, and so a lot of us are in the generational poverty cycle, right? Where if we don't understand that there's a better way, or if we don't understand that things can be done differently, then we'll just follow the same loop. We'll have kids, and then we'll teach our kids the same thing, and then they'll continue that cycle of that generational poverty, right? Over and over again. So the only way to break that is someone has to be the disruptor, and to understand that I have to wake up and realize that, you know, life is much more than going to work, coming home, buying liabilities, or buying a lot of things that doesn't really return me any investment. Life is more than that, right? And the only way to make change and to do that, I believe, is to build an infrastructure of assets that you own, because your job is only supposed to be able to provide you with your basic needs. And some people confuse what the job is supposed to provide. They think that, well, if I have a job, it's supposed to provide me with like my connection to, you know, building more relationships, or, you know, creating more liabilities for myself, or maximizing my expenses. Or let's say I make $50,000 and then $50,000 goes out, because they're trying to do things above their basic needs, right? But the only thing your job is supposed to provide is your basic needs. And in order to scale up your life and to get more of your time back, the only way to do that, like I keep saying, is to create an asset infrastructure that supports the wealth ratio of more coming in and less going out. right? So we have to make that a priority. And by focusing on your sleeping number, right, understanding that money is not regulated to a specific time and day, that I can build more assets and create more financial security for myself. That's how you break that cycle.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I like what you say. Is you say by giving the idea how people to become their own boss and or to master their ideas. A lot of people, even they're trying to steal your ideas. You know, when you share with people, a lot of people they don't like to share. Like you said earlier, a lot of people we like to keep in. If we share, somebody will take. Sometimes play jealousy. Sometimes you share honest and trying to help people about and your idea. They take it for them to use it. So it's fear for some people. Like someone like you has to say, you know what, I want to help. I want to see the next generation to have things that they're supposed to have because our brain is your mind.
Yeah.
That bring to life, but you have to work through that. So what advice you will give to the people that they want to give their idea, they want to help, but they're afraid to.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying. So for one, you can't fear someone taking something from you because once it's in your head, it belongs to you forever, right? So no one can take knowledge from you. Once you get knowledge, that's it. You have it. So if I bring an idea out to the table and somebody takes it, that's great because that is not going to stop me from doing anything that I want to do. And so my advice would be to you is like that will never stop you from doing what you want to do with yourself because no one can take information from you once it's achieved. That's yours for life. So I would almost be excited if somebody took an idea and ran with it because that's their lane. That's what they can do. But everything that happens in my life, both positively and negatively, is a result of my own actions.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's a result of my own actions. So having high levels of self-accountability, then there is no fear. Because if something doesn't go the way it's supposed to or it fails, it's my fault. I have to be accountable for my own actions. Right. And that takes a lot of discipline to have that level of self-accountability. And I think that's one of the things that's really missing. And I have a whole chapter in the book on, the buck starts and stops with you. So I think that's like the first chapter.
Yeah.
We open up the book with that. The buck starts and stops with you. So if you're trying to bring an idea to life and you fail or there's a mishap, it's your fault. So that means you have the ability to solve it. Right. So if you have the ability to solve it, then that means that you can't it can't be deterred or be detracted unless you allow it.
Right.
Yes.
So
Right.
And I love that because it allows a person to take responsibility
yeah.
for their own life, for their own actions, where a lot of times a person that may work a 9-to-5 job, they just have the responsibility of that job and not so much as taking risk in life that would make their life better. So I think having person understand the responsibility, what comes with that, and having confidence in themselves to move forward in life, I think that there would change that generation poverty that you talked about.
Yeah.
Because at some point, someone has to be the disruptor for that to change.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that word.
that's a good point.
Disruptor.
That's a good point because it's funny. You mentioned that people want to have security because if they have their job, they don't have to worry about taking on the full responsibility, right? But one of the things we talk about a lot in my circle is true security can only come from that in which you create for yourself,
Yes.
right? So your job technically isn't really providing you security because at any moment they can take it from you, right? But here's another thing. I think if most people realized and they would take more risk if they realized that they were already a business, right?
Yes.
Everyone's a business. The product that we sell every day is our time. In exchange for that time, your employer is going to give you a salary or hourly pay. So, your job interview is like a negotiation. It's like, hey, in exchange for my time, I want X amount of salary. So your product is your time, and you're selling it for, capital, right? But even with that, people don't realize that they can negotiate better terms for themselves, right? Because it is a negotiation, and they are selling a product, which is their time.
Their time.
Right.
I tell you, time is the most valuable resource.
Yes, it is.
Because that is something each of us wake up every day and have the same amount of time.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And
it's a certain generation that will fight more for the negotiation of pay for their time versus me back in baby boomers or Generation X. The generation now, they see their value early.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
I love
Early
that.
on.
Absolutely.
You know that.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Most of my employees are from the current the Gen Z population, and you definitely got to handle them differently. You know, you can't just tell them, "Hey, do it because of this," because I said so. Like they want to know why. They want to that you have to really right. And then, but the good thing about them though is they will challenge certain things, but they challenge it in a way to try to find a solution that makes it easier.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you know, if a 8-hour job can be done in 30 minutes, they're gonna figure out how to do it in 30 minutes. and if you don't see it for yourself, they're gonna make sure you know. Right? So you really got to kind of be on your toes. But I do like this generation because they're about more creativity, more about passion, and they're not really into like accumulation of just more. Right? They want to do work smarter, not harder, basically.
Yes, yes, and I noticed that too. Even when you're looking at the generation where now they, they're living in vans or renovating buses or
Right.
got the tiny homes. I
Right.
mean, they're really downsizing compared to my generation,
Right.
where the bigger the house, the better.
Right.
But along comes with that is a bigger electric bill, a bigger water bill, a bit, So I love their thought process, and they're realizing that younger,
Yes.
Yeah.
where I'm just now realizing
Yes.
it.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, yep. So on with your book, I know you talked about you got the offenses and the defenses in your book, because obviously I think once you have an ideal, a person just don't know what to do with that idea once they have it.
Right.
So they start working the offense of it, formulating it, getting it going, but there's always those deterrents that throw them off track.
That's yes.
Does your book help with that?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, after we get through understanding how to think and self accountability in the first section of the book, we go into the offensive strategy. The offensive strategy is going to break down how to identify all the actionable discoveries it takes to bring your idea to life. Right. Now, once you identify that, that's the key piece, because that's how you master your ideas. Because in order to achieve it, whether it's you succeed or fail, is going to be on you because you have all the information. Now, as you're starting to go through, there's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be pitfalls. There's going to be bumps in the road, right? So how do we deal with that? And so in the book, the defensive strategies, I like to define it as smart defense. And I equate smart defense to an NFL defense whose number one job is to keep the offense on the field. That's what it's there for. If they can sit on the sideline the whole game, they're doing something right, because their offense is putting points up on the board and they're staying on the field longer. So the strategy of the smart defense that I describe in the book does just that. It keeps your offensive skills in play so your idea can go to manifestation into real life. And so I call it an action phase plan. That's the offensive strategy I teach, how to build your action phase plan. And then once your action phase plan is complete, I give you all the skills that it takes to play defense. So when you hit a bump in the road, how do you handle it? How do you get over it? And how do you mitigate it to keep you on track? And then the last portion is I then take you to like the stability tactics of now stabilizing your idea. Now that you've mastered it, right? You played the defense. It's now in fruition. Now you're in a leadership role. How do you stabilize that when your attention to detail is at its lowest? Because you're not the one physically doing it, right? You got to rely on somebody else. Yeah. So you need the skills to be able to stabilize it and be effective in your leadership mannerisms and activities to make sure that people are going to do what you need them to do. Right. So that last piece wraps up with teaching them how to stabilize the idea. So the book is like an entire gambit from how to think, all the way to the offensive, the defensive, and then the stability strategies to keep it intact. So, and I wrote it from the lens like the visionary, right? The visionary, my partner's a visionary. And out of our group, I'm like I said it earlier, I'm the logistics operations guy. So failure is not an option. That's my role. He's the big strategic planner, the one that's going to create the plan, and then we're going to okay, I got the plan, I got the vision. Now let's how do we bring it to life? And so the book was written for
That's
that.
what I need.
Yeah, for the visionary,
So one
because they got so
person
many.
cannot do,
Yeah,
this is what I'm trying to like. One person cannot really do anything. Just like you cannot succeed by yourself. Somebody has to help you to succeed.
Right.
So that's why I need. I have so many like.
Yeah.
But I just need right person. Like you say, you have partner. That's what I really need.
Yeah, but the book will allow you, if you say you didn't have that partner, it was just you by yourself. You can stop, you can think, and then you can process the information with a roadmap and a step-by-step plan. If you follow the steps, then you will go from idea to mastery. And it starts with creating your vision. That's what I teach first. So you create your vision first. Then after you create your vision, you identify a central question that relates to the vision. But if you turn it into a question, questions have to be solved.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So as we turn the vision into a central question, and then once you get your central question, then now you break that down into visualizing all the actionable discoveries that answer that question.
Okay.
And then once that question is answered, that means that your idea is mastered. Okay. So then how do we come up with all the steps to get there? That's what the book breaks down, how to specifically do that in a step-by-step format. Oh, wow. So it's pretty powerful. You know, and by the way, everything in here is how we operate our businesses. So I have my own real estate company. We have a mortgage loan origination department. We do property management. All these were from scratch. We opened up Flavor Hills Restaurant and Bar. We did it in 90 days.
Wow. How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Wow.
How'd that happen?
In 90 days.
In 90 days.
90 days.
And the testament is to everything in this book is how we did it in 90 days. So it's funny. I was riding around. It was 2021, April. I was riding on what's that, Marine Boulevard. Saw the sign for lease. Text my partner. I'm like, hey, bro, like this is not a business pitch, because we told ourselves we weren't gonna do no more things, no business ideas. We were gonna take a break because we had so much going on. So I was like, hey, this is not a business pitch, but
But
the first thing I was like, a barbecue spot. You know, we don't have a good barbecue here in Jacksonville. So we laughed about it for a second, and then he texted me back like, let's go take a look at it. So that was April. Fast forward, July 24th, the restaurant was open, and we had a staff of 50 people.
Wow.
And,
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome to me.
That's really awesome.
And I don't tell that story a lot because some people, you rushed it, you know. But I'm okay with saying that now, because if you can create the planning and execute on a step-by-step process, and it comes to life, it doesn't matter how fast it or slow it goes.
Yeah.
Right. It all that matters is that it's open.
yes.
It's open. Yeah.
Right. So we did that in 90 days, and like I said, all the processes that went on to bring it to life, I put in here. I actually have a few case studies in the book on how to build your action phase plan, and I use the restaurant build out as a case study.
I'm glad you say that. So some people, you say like you don't share often about rushing to 90 days because some people think that you should think about it, pray about it, and then do research. So, and a lot of people, they're afraid of that. They have the idea, they want to act upon on it, but at the same time, people are like, oh, you're rushing too fast. You know, like it happened to me. I started, and I have not shared with you guys, I applied for LLC and product that I do at home. Actually, I do organic spice at my house. And then I applied for LLC. Actually, I got it, and with my mom name. And then I got discouraged by some people that was close to me. They're supposed to help me. But then I dissolved the LLC because they told me I was Russian. Yeah. But I got I packaged everything.
So that probably comes to that defense side.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
does.
those defenses came in and disrupt your operation there.
Yeah.
Also, it's good to have people that will support you.
Yeah.
You see,
You
it's
gotta
okay
have
to
that.
fail. You know, I mean, we're here to learn something. When you fail,
Yeah.
that's
you
how
only
you
fail
learn.
if you
You
don't
don't
get
try.
up and try again.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I
do
actually-
have support.
yeah.
Success turned inside out.
I actually rule out the word failure. We don't use it.
Yes.
We don't use the word failure because you can't fail because it's an opportunity for a lesson learned.
To
That's
learn.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
honestly, I had everything. Like the packaging, the spice, and I took it to some friends. They like it. Actually, they would ask me. And
Yeah, and that's interesting because unfortunately that's how a lot of ideas get killed. If you don't have the support, or if someone try to talk you out of it.
Discourages you.
Yeah.
It did happen that to me. Like it was. I mean, I will.
If I was talking to
pursue
you,
that.
I would say, Fetihya, why didn't you get in touch with Taylor's? He might have done that.
I know,
Yeah.
but that was like 21. Actually,
Yeah.
it was 21, and it's even like I still have.
It's
the
not
label,
too late, Fetihya.
everything.
Yeah.
The
It's not too
spice,
late.
and I do organic coffee. I roast my coffee. I ground it, everything. Like a lot. It's coffee spice that you can add and with bacon. Just like really, I still have the opportunity to do it
You
again.
need to.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the support. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have someone like, okay, I did it my own. Everything I put together, but like, I didn't have capital.
And
I
if we
needed.
had this book, we would have known that you could have just kept right on going.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a good idea.
No,
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
does.
have
Yeah.
people. Like I say, I was stay-home mom, and I was going to school online at the time. I just had baby. I was kind of like, okay, I have those ideas. I wanna, and the credit card I used to get some spice. Then COVID happened. I will pursue.
Yeah, it's not too late. It's not too late.
And for all of our viewers out there, I mean, we all have ideas. A lot of times, I'll have an idea, but I don't know what to do with that idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the book Mastering Your Ideals is probably a good resource that we need to help us move those ideals along, because there's so much stuff in the world that we could change and make better, and it's probably when you guys holding on to an ideal to make it better for someone else. So I say, let's get this book and let's
this
get our
book.
ideals
Yeah.
out there.
There's
So
a
you
there-
also have
yeah.
a class or something that we can attend?
Yeah, so with Commander Lifestyle, that's my lifestyle brand, like I said earlier, where we're basically trying to teach people how to find their purpose through earning more money. So with the class, we take someone from how to make their first 100,000, going from zero, because to get 100,000, that's the biggest hurdle, right? Because once you get to 100,000, you only need 10 more 100,000s to get to 1,000,000. But if you started from zero, that first hurdle is at 100,000. So we need to get there so we can get the confidence. Okay, yes, I can do this. And then once you do that, then we show you, how to go from there. So with our course is really we're diving into the psychology, because most people don't understand the purpose of money. All right, and if you don't understand the purpose of money, then you'll spend it without a purpose. Right, and that's how we get into those situations where, we're running up our luxuries, we're buying excessive liabilities,
Living outside our means.
we're living outside our means. Right,
We got people winning lottery that are going bankrupt.
right away.
It's,
Right. But the true the true way you should spend your money, or the true investment you should have, is an investment in self. And so by we're taking the goal, or we're taking the stance that we want to be the number one institution for alternative education and self-investment. So we give people an opportunity to make those investments in self, because your goal should be a perpetual student. Education doesn't end
like that.
when you leave high school. Education is lifelong.
Continue.
Especially if you have kids. So my job, I have a son, he's 16. My job is to always be of value. And so that means I got to be a perpetual student, because if there's ever a situation where my son comes to me and I can't provide him any value, then I'm no longer a benefit in his eyes. I'm dead. He's outgrown me. And so you don't want your kids to outgrow you, right? So I gotta be learning just as much as him, right? So I gotta keep my foot on the gas like him, right? And I expect my parents to do the same, and he's gonna expect me to do the same, and I expect him to do the same for his son or his daughter. And so being that perpetual student is a must, and if you're not, then you'll get left behind.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I'm one
I like-
right now. I feel like I'm a student right now, because I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
learning.
I'm learning,
This
so
is
learn.
great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I love the continuation of learning, because there's so much stuff in school right now that is not taught.
Right.
Yeah,
Especially pertaining to finances.
Absolutely.
And finance is something that we deal with on a daily basis, whether it's down to our taxes every year, it's learning those interest rates on credit cards, I mean, stuff that affects a person throughout their life in order to purchase their first car, their first home. That stuff is not taught in school. So that's something that if our parents don't teach it to us, where do we go to learn it? It's usually trial and error.
Right.
We have so much debt in the United States because of credit card. People just not understanding, you got to pay that money back. And you're paying it back with interest.
Yeah.
So I love that that continuation of learning, because we have to know that stuff to even manage our own lives. That is not taught in school. So if it's not taught in school, where do we go for that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're providing an opportunity.
Yeah. And another thing, just to kind of to hit on that, it's two things that you should take away. The one, wealth is a ratio of more coming in and less coming out. And then money is not created, right? No, money can't be created. It's transferred from one entity to another based on the value they provide. So your goal should be, how do I get more people to transfer money to me? Right? So that's your only purpose, right? How do I get more money transferred to me? Because it's never going to be created.
Right.
The money's in circulation.
Yeah.
But
And that's a good way to look at
You know,
that.
you see, that is a aha moment for me. When you become valuable, money come to you.
Exactly, yeah.
You have to deliver valuable thing. Money chase value.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So and how do you become more valuable in the marketplace? You got to get more skills.
Exactly.
Right. And you
Which
got,
is in you. It's all of it. We have capability. We all valuable, but we have to. People reach out to you because you value.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have value, people pay you.
Yeah.
You mind. That's the reason they pay this.
One big game, but transfer the money.
Exactly.
The money
So,
shuffle. Yeah.
The more we analyze, the more we sink into ourselves, in tune to ourselves. You can help people think. You cannot really teach them how to think. You have to help them how to think. So for me, my son, I tell him, I cannot think for you. I can help you think. So that's what we have to do for ourselves. It is a lot of value in us. We have to develop, and money will come.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we need to learn to value ourselves too.
Yes. The value of ourselves.
Because a lot of times, even in our everyday jobs, we tend to might even overwork ourselves and not get paid what we truly should be making. So we really got to learn to value ourselves and
But that
our
goes
work.
back to the sleep. How much are you worth?
How much are you
Where
working?
when
Much
you
work while you
sleep,
sleep.
you know?
Yeah.
It goes right back to that.
And also understanding that your earning potential is not regulated to a specific hours in the day. You have to bring in more assets, create a more sound financial infrastructure, and that would lead to you being more valuable and making more money, and ultimately raising your sleeping number.
Exactly.
So is this something that you go back and teach your family as well?
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
everybody in family?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, like, give me my advice to me for my family. How I can sit down with my family to help, because I really would think that I can bring this book in along with your course to help us from the generations to come.
Right. Yes. So this will be the perfect thing to introduce someone to, because really we wrote the course from the lens of someone who hasn't made any mistakes. That doesn't mean you can't still take the course and get real value out of it, because you can. Because we created the Life Escrow System workbook, which shows people how to get out of living in month in terms of their expenses and bills to get 1 year ahead. Because if you can get 1 year ahead on your finances, you remove the mental real estate that occupies your mind, that causes you to make irrational decisions, right? Because everything is revolved around survival. So we got to get them out of survival mode. So we teach,
Paycheck to paycheck.
right. So that's what we break down in the course. But if you're not in survival mode, right? You're fresh. Say you just got graduated college and you haven't made none of the mistakes yet. The course then also highlights how to avoid the pitfalls, how to not fall into the debt traps, right? How to not fall in what we call the middle class trap, where middle class trap is where we think that our paychecks provide us security, so we run up our expenses, thinking that our job is going to be there to save us.
Right.
So then your wealth ratio is off, right? There's what less coming in and more going out.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
so.
And we need it the other way, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
And that's why we're breaking generation curses.
Yes.
Exactly. A lot of people they don't like commitment. It means that commitment, and if you work for someone, there's no responsibility fall back to you. You know, is they rather just go and clock in, clock out, and I don't have to deal with and taking responsibility, having employees and all that. So we have to pass our comfort zone to get to the risk. Some people they don't want to take a risk.
No, that's a big fact.
Yeah.
And then with this being Women's History Month, right? I do want to kind of talk about some things in that direction because I feel like women right now are undervalued in the marketplace.
Oh yes.
And so for me, understanding that there's a shift coming, just in my business management structure alone, I put a lot of women in positions of power.
Okay.
So my executive chef is she's a female. My front of the house general manager / front of the house manager is a female. Our bar manager is a female. Because one thing I noticed that women are natural nurturers and multipliers, right? So you give a woman something, she's gonna multiply, right? That's just in the nature of women,
Yes.
right? And right now, I think more and more women are waking up to understand their potential, and I think they're more entrepreneurs in terms of the women realm are being born more and more. I got a couple stats. I don't know if y'all.
Okay.
I don't want to mess it up.
That's good though.
Yeah.
So this is something that I think is women should hear because it was eye opening for me.
Okay.
So the U.S. has 12.3 million women-owned businesses. U.S. women-owned businesses generate $1.8 trillion a year. 40% of U.S. businesses are women-owned, and women started 1,821 new businesses every day last year. And 64% of those new women-owned businesses were started by women of color.
Ooh. Yes.
There are 114% more women entrepreneurs than they were 20 years ago.
Wow.
And 62% of women entrepreneurs cite their business as the primary source of income.
Man.
And so that's pretty phenomenal, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
But I wanted to highlight with all that success, right? The report also indicated that we're still 151 years away from the global gender gap in women economic women empowerment and attainment. So there's still a 151 year gap based on the head start of women, of the inequalities that started in the beginning.
Yeah.
So with all that success, there's still a lot of work to do. So if you're a female and you're watching this, those stats should motivate you to know that the world is changing. There's, that's one stat, 1,821 new businesses were started last year by women every single day.
So, I'm glad you say that. If you look around every corner you go, if it's store, restaurant, bar, club, and video, and song, they are women.
Yeah.
If you really if you say like, she's less value because she is some area she put herself, but still because of women, they make million.
Right.
Like club.
Yeah.
Strip club, bars, restaurant. Most women work there, so I'm not surprised. But they undervalue.
Undervalue, yeah.
Because we the one bring value to the every area of business.
Right.
But do you think that we allow them,
Of
person,
course.
to bring value? Because this right here, this has brought value to me today. So this is eye opening for me to take that now to my daughters and my granddaughter and my generation.
Yes.
So it's like we don't allow anyone to bring that devalue, but we have to get it in our mind, ourself, our value.
We got
Right.
to
That sleep number thing got me now. I ain't gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Look, it got me too.
I'm gonna go
Look,
figure it out.
It got me too.
So.
Because and he also told me that if your sleeping number isn't $34 or more, then you got a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah.
So that motivated me 10, 12 years ago to say I got to get my number above $35 so I can be a player in this game.
Yeah.
So they say that you have to get some 8 hours of sleep to be healthy. So how can you you want to stay healthy if you don't get enough?
Maybe you don't need to get it 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
Exactly. But scientifically they say that you have to get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Right. But see,
It means that you have to sacrifice for you to become successful.
yes and no. But also we got to understand that in order to build income, we don't exchange our time for money.
Yeah.
Right. So if you exchange your time for money, then that means, well, then you only got to work 24 hours to make more. But if you remove the limitations on how to make money and say, well, I don't have to go out and do physical activity to earn dollars, then that's how you make yourself more valuable. And that can come from passive income opportunities, buying businesses. One of the things that like we're really focused on right now is buying cash flow businesses that are producing great returns on investment. So if you think about the baby boomers, they all were like more entrepreneurial based. That's just what they were in their nature. And so a lot of them are aging out, right? And their kids want to be, TikTok stars and social media superstars. So they don't really have anybody to turn their businesses over to. So, and a lot of times the baby boomers don't even realize they can sell their business, right? They're just letting it die. And some of them are producing millions of dollars a year and they just let the business die, right? Not understanding they can just sell it. So right now it's a real opportunity because if you can buy a business, right, and just hire someone to do the work, then that's how you raise a sleeping number because you're not the one physically exchanging. Like I'm sitting right now, and Flavor Hill is open.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
You're making money sitting here.
Right. So that idea of increasing your sleeping number has to be very creative. You have to think outside the box. And so owning real estate, that's an excellent opportunity. If you can find a way to buy investment properties. One of the things we do teach in our Mastering Your Money course is how to use the BRRRR strategy. We do a case study on one of our mentees who used the BRRRR strategy to obtain 7 properties. If you don't know what the BRRRR strategy is, that's the buy, the rent, the reinvest, and the refinance strategy. Basically, where you can buy a property with and use a hard money loan for like 10% down. You do the repairs and renovations to fix the property. You rent it out and then you refinance it, right? And when you when you do the repairs, you make sure you get the value, the after repair value higher than what you paid for it.
Okay.
Right. So if the after repair value was higher, then you can refinance 75% of the debt, right? And then if you structure the deal right, there should be profit in the middle that you can take. So now you get your original investment back, and then you go find another property and do it again. And you just keep doing that over and over again. That's the BRRRR strategy. And that's how you can accumulate 100 doors real quick.
You're mastering your money.
Mastering Your Money course that we teach under the Commander Lifestyle
How
brand.
does a person get enrolled in this course?
So the Commander Lifestyle course is you will go to commanderlifestyle.com/mastering your money. Right, commanderlifestyle.com/mastering your money, and we talk about the psychology of money, and like I said, it's a case study that takes you from 0 to your first 100,000. And a part of the case study, we do break down the BRRRR strategy and how we was able to use that to get 7 properties, cash flowing him $4,289 a month.
Wow. Talk about sleep number going out. So if our viewers out there, if you are looking to take yourself out of the box, I highly recommend.
Highly recommend that.
Yeah,
So
I'll
it
be
means-
signing up.
Me too.
I'm gonna sign up.
It means
Signing
what
up.
you are doing is you finding problem is I think to kind of do what you're doing is a lot of people they don't focus on problem, they're trying to get solution. But if you focus on what is the problem, you give them solution. That's how people buy.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely. When we sit down and we do mentor sessions to start, that's the first thing we ask them. What big problem are you going to solve? That's what we need to identify first. What big problem are you going to solve? Because the only way to become valuable and wealthy is you have to solve a problem and make impact.
Yes.
And then by virtue of solving problems and making impact, money will just appear. Because money is not created. It's transferred from one entity to another based on the value you provide.
Yep.
So, you got to solve a big problem. So.
Really, like in Africa, to come to America, people, like wealthy people, they would sell their house, their property to come to America. You know why? Because of the Constitution they have in America. The written of Constitution never dies.
Yeah.
One person, the idea of written, how many years ago?
Yeah.
They will sell everything they have to come to America because of the freedom
That's
from the
That's a good
religion,
point.
from the exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, you literally can start with nothing here and
Yes.
build a life of your dreams.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
90% of immigrants are in restaurant owner business in America.
That's
amazing.
good.
So I think a few takeaways from this. Obviously, I think if you have an idea that you don't know, where to go with it, definitely Teller's book should be top on your list to get. And we could purchase that book at masteringyourideals.com.
Yes, correct. Masteringyourideas.com is where you purchase the book. You can also follow me on Instagram. We do a lot of clips and inspirational talks and motivational talks on our Instagram pages. That's Instagram is tellers.j.pollard.
Okay.
Is my Instagram. And then our course from the Commander Lifestyle brand, which is myself and my two business partners, Andre Truss and Eric Johnson.
Okay.
We started Commander Lifestyle together. And our course is available at commanderlifestyle.com/mastering-your-money. So,
Okay.
And
yeah.
how often
Is that
that
self-paced?
course? Yeah. How does that work? Is it a class you take online?
Yes,
Is
it's
it self-paced
an
or-
online self-paced course. And so you can take it at your own leisure. So you log in just like I don't know if anyone's used to done online school, but you just log in the same way, and then the course begins, and you just go through everything. You learn the information. There's quizzes in there, and after you finish, you get a certificate of completion, and then you can go off and start implementing and executing the plan.
That's awesome.
Yep. And I know with the person who has zero money getting to $100,000, that's a huge
I
step.
need that.
So
Yeah.
I'm signing up for that because I need to get from zero
Trust me.
to 100,000.
Yes. Now, do you go to any schools and talk to some of our young fellows? I have a good friend, Mr. Rodney Johnson, that has gentleman qualities, and he's doing a excellent job with these young men. I would love to have you to come in, because I think if we can get them young,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
talk to them,
Yeah.
there's hope for me too, right?
Yeah.
I got me a friend now.
Yeah.
But I will, to think that if we can get them young and train their minds and stuff when they
Yeah.
don't go out.
No, that's I would love to do something like that. That's actually a part of our mission. So we're actually creating a Black College tour right now, where we're going to go to HBCUs and try to make impact before they graduate, so they don't fall into all those pitfalls.
Yes.
And so
That's a great
yeah.
way to give back.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we're trying to treat that like, how like there's always like a concert rotation at these colleges, and it's like no values, music. So we want to make impact the same way, but then from an educational standpoint, and make it cool to be smart. So it's okay to have information. It's okay to think outside the box and break the system, so you can fight generational poverty and create generational wealth.
Yeah. And I think that's a great population to start with, just because they're probably already feeling the strains of that financial hardship
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of them are, so I think they're going to be willing to listen and follow the guidance given, and that's going
Yeah.
to change the trajectory of those individuals.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that.
Well, I know even with the guidelines will help out, and someone actually being there to say, look, this can happen. This is real. This can happen.
Yeah.
Where are you actually from?
So I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland, originally. I joined the Marine Corps in 2007, and so I started out as the rank of a private, worked my way up to Chief 1 Officer 2 at the time of my exit. So that was a tough decision I mentioned earlier. I think we were talking out there, where I had to decide if I was going to continue to get to retirement or focus on my purpose and passion, which was being in business and being able to educate the masses. So obviously I made that decision to make that about face and take this path. But the good thing of living in Jacksonville, I still get to be around military all the time. A lot of my clientele in real estate is military. And then all of our students are mostly military officers or military enlisted that we educate and train on different topics. So I'm still actually in service, I guess, in sort of a way, just not actually in.
Just providing a different type of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could totally relate to that, because being in the military, and you get the individuals that coming right out of high school, and a lot of them didn't know how. Well, back then it was balance out their checkbook. Well,
Yeah.
now it's ATMs. A lot of times they don't realize you're putting that card in, getting money out. That money's coming from somewhere.
Right.
So a lot of them really need that financial education piece of it that is really missing in our school systems throughout the country
Right.
on that. So I'm glad you're still reaching out to them and guiding them in that aspect.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As a leader in the Marines, you know, that's probably one of the biggest things is trying to get them to understand their finances, to save money. They don't need to buy that, you know,
fancy car,
2023 Challenger or you know what I mean? They're just really spending money beyond their means.
That's
So
exactly
it's
what they
getting them
do.
understand
Like
that.
I used to work MCCS and the day they get paid, oh my God. They just want to come and get everything. You can see between the new Marines and young and the one that, you know, older, like they come, they just buy a few things, they go for the youngest one.
They're
They
getting
want
the
to grab
biggest
everything.
screen TV.
They want to grab everything. Like the money's gone by the second.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. You know, that's why we say, I mean, if you don't understand the purpose of money, then you spend it without a purpose.
That's right.
You know, it's just, you know, but I think if we can shift the mindset there to getting people to understand that the only purpose of your job is to fund your basic needs, then they'll understand that in order to have that wealth ratio of more coming in and less going out, you can't make those type of decisions.
Right.
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 Especially if you want to be a player. Now, some people are just satisfied where they're at. Right. Some people, they don't have any aspirations outside of what they're doing. And that's okay too. Right. Because you can live a regular life. Well, not, I mean, you want to say regular to act like it's less than, but you can live the life that you want. Right. Your aspirations don't always have to be high. But if your aspirations are high, then you have an obligation to take take opportunities and to elevate yourself to be exposed to more things. And so hopefully this conversation today and conversations like this in the future, you'll start to see people take on more of that mission to invest in themselves and learn more information so they become players in the game.
Yes.
Tell us, so do you talked a little bit about your real estate. Do you get involved with insurance? Any kind of like insurance, you know?
So I don't, not physically. I have resources that we can like recommend people to. Are you talking about life insurance?
Yes.
So
So a lot of times we won't get life insurance, and I feel like it keeps our generation and keeps the family in debt because if something happened, then you got to come up with the money to try to bury family members.
That's absolutely. And I know there's tons of life insurance strategies out there, things that I want to learn as well. But that's something that I'm still building myself. I do have some policies, but we don't actually teach it because that's something that's outside of our area of expertise. But I do know that there's tons of strategies like that where you can create generational wealth just through life insurance. You know, so.
And you know, even talking about it in your family, how important it is to have it, especially at an early age.
I have to do that.
Life and you know, insurance and stuff.
And it's an investment and a commitment to that also.
Yes,
Right.
it really is.
You got to make that commitment.
Yeah, Fetihya, you was getting ready to say. I was going to say something else with the life insurance part of it when we talk about it, because I was saying how it can keep the family, you know, down because they trying to borrow money. Now they have put themselves back in debt because they got to take care of, you know, burying the loved one if you do it, and if you're doing early, it's cheaper on you. And like there is, you know, different policies and stuff out there.
You guys different in Africa. When you die, the moment you die, you gone. They're gonna bury you. That's I'm serious. Like America, you have to have insurance. Like back home, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. If you die, you gone few hours later. You're underground.
Wow. Yeah, but here, for
You can't play this.
Americans, you guys have to have all
I get
that.
tired of them GoFundMe sometimes now. I tell you, they drive me crazy sometimes. But you know, we do what we got to do. But you know, teaching, that's another part of teaching. That information. That mastering your needs. You got a book today?
I do. Actually, I actually have some extra copies with me too. If you guys want one, I can do that for you guys.
Now, do you do simulcast? I think it's called simulcast, where we can put you on the screen and you're talking, even if you're not here teaching this right here.
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah, that's not an issue.
Okay, you're gonna be tired of me, okay?
Look,
like, hey,
this is
when are you available for you to do this class for me? Because I got a bunch of people that we're all together and we want to learn about investment.
Okay.
And I do have a couple friends and stuff. We really wanted to get into learning about investing our money and stuff. If you retire, my husband retired from teaching, so you know we
the most powerful thing I think was underutilized the most is group economics.
Yes.
Yeah, you can leverage the strength of multiple people. So that's what me and my partners do. Is if I make $100,000, he makes 100,000, then we have 200,000. We don't have one in each individually,
Wow.
right? So
And also you have to surround yourself people think like you. When I say that people want to grow like you, now when I say thinking people want to grow, it's people that they want to go somewhere.
yeah, and that's key. But oftentimes your circle, you can't really control it, right? Because if you are in an environment and there's only certain people there, how do you find like-minded people? So another good thing is we have our Commander Lifestyle Discord. And Discord is like a social platform where you can come as an online community. So where you can come in with like-minded people. And I know we run a little short on time, but I can like if you go to our Instagram that I mentioned earlier, then the Discord link is there.
Oh, okay.
And so we have a community of people that they're commanders. Once they buy the course, they're commanders, and we show them how to become a lifelong student with us. So as we gain or learn new information, they're a part of our journey.
Okay.
And then they can cross-pollinate ideas within the Discord, the online community. So that's a way to kind of solve not having that circle, right? Because now you can just go and bully it, and be in the online community.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Also,
That's
in 10 different seminars they have,
Yeah.
So now I got to learn something else because I'm on Facebook, so. So now I got to learn Instagram. All right, now it's stretching me some.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of platforms out there, Diana.
Yes.
But thank you, tellers,
Yes,
for
thank you
coming
so
on. What a
much.
wealth of knowledge.
Wow.
I think a lot of our viewers are going to take a lot from this conversation today.
Yeah.
Your book, obviously, is available. I'm going to sign up for that management
I'm
one.
with you.
I think
We
I'm
can do
with
it
that
together.
one. Yes. But join us next week. Next week, we're going to have Cindy Edwards. She is an entrepreneur, a city councilwoman. She's with a lot of civic organizations, a Rotarian. So definitely, she's going to be fabulous to listen to. But our topic next week is going to be, how do we mentor our young ladies that are coming up in the world right now? So we will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for joining us. And
Thank you,
tellers,
Taylor,
thank you
again.
so much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Oh, a wealth of knowledge.
Wealth of knowledge.
At Lamar Media Versatility,